James sat at his wooden desk, the candlelight flickering as he pressed his pen against the paper. His hands trembled, not from age, but from the weight of the words he had held inside for too long. "My dearest Lily," he wrote, "if fate is kind, this letter will reach you. I have loved you in silence, in stolen glances, in unsaid words. If you feel the same, meet me under the old oak tree at sunset." He folded the letter carefully, tucking it inside the pages of a book. The same book Lily once mentioned was her favorite. His heart pounded as he handed it to the librarian. "Please, make sure Lily gets this," he said, smiling nervously. But fate had other plans. 50 years later, Emma ran her fingers over the worn-out books at a small, quiet bookstore. She loved old books. They carried history, untold stories, and sometimes forgotten secrets. As she flipped through the pages of an aged novel, a yellowed envelope slipped out. Curious, she picked it up and gently pulled out the fragile paper inside. The words were faded, but the love in them was still alive. She read it once. Then again, "Who is James?" And "Did Lily ever see this?" Her heart raced as she approached the bookstore owner. "Excuse me, do you know where this book came from?" she asked, showing him the letter. The elderly bookseller adjusted his glasses and sighed. "Ah, that book belonged to Mr. James. He used to visit often, searching for a lost letter, one he never found." Emma's breath caught in her throat. The letter had been lost in time, but now, after 50 years, she had found it. The next day, Emma stood outside the nursing home, her hands clutching the old letter. She had spent the whole night searching, and now she was here. Inside, an old man sat by the window, lost in memories. His eyes, once filled with youth and love, now held only longing. "Mr. James?" Emma called softly. The old man turned, his eyes narrowing in confusion. Emma hesitated before stepping forward. "I think I found something that belongs to you." She handed him the letter. His frail fingers trembled as he unfolded it. His breath hitched. His lips parted, but no words came out. "It was in a book," Emma explained gently. "I don't think Lily ever received it." James let out a shaky sigh, his eyes misting over. After all these years, she never knew? Emma felt a lump in her throat, but before she could say anything, a nurse who had overheard their conversation gasped. "Lily?" she whispered. "Lily Adams?" James and Emma turned toward her. "She lives here," the nurse said, barely containing her excitement. "Lily has been here for years." James's breath caught. His heart pounded, not with the weakness of old age, but with the rush of young love that had never faded. 50 years. 50 years of waiting. And now fate had finally brought them back together.